There are 3 big times of year for our family: Christmas, Easter, and the CNE. Christmas finds 25 of us sitting around 2 tables in the dining room for brunch and present opening and pictures recording the changes from year to year, generation to generation. Easter has absolutely mandatory church, followed by dinner at Sank, the catering company of Alex and Verity. 25 or so sitting around the table and gorging on an endless buffet. Then back to my house for the Easter egg hunt with at least 5 clues per person before their egg is found. And then the only day that makes the end of summer almost bearable: the whole family off to the CNE with rides and the oddest of food combos, horses and flower displays, gawking at exhibits and opting for the newest of kitchen inventions, artwork, parades, music, scatting cabin, and all the new surprises to eat, to wear, to admire. Wandering about and seeing new generations delighting in the same spaces that were the great treat of my childhood when my father took me to the X, mother being occupied with her job at the Diamond Cheese booth in the food building. Traditions are wondrous things. They weave generations together. They anticipate shared time and places that are familiar and yet new each year. They are a way to pass on what one generation values to the generations that will follow. Not that values don't change. What was acceptable, indeed laudable, to one generation is laughable or condemned in another. The new hat, dress, and white gloves needed for Easter church attendance in the 1950s is met with the derision it deserves. Sure, getting dressed for church is one thing, but white gloves and dresses seem reserved for the high school prom these days. Far easier to pass on values such as respect for the elderly when children grow up knowing their granny and her jigsaw puzzles over which questions and conversations were so easy. Then there was Great Uncle Dexter, whispering stories of naughty things Dad did at your age. Well, that was just icing on the cake. Not everyone gets to raise their children in the old neighborhood or even the same city where they grew up. But there are different kinds of families. Some share no blood relationship, but are built on common interests and values. And they create their own communities, their own traditions, friends who share common values and interests. The ones united by the sports they value and how good sportsmanship, fitness, and supporting newcomers is a tradition, praised and passed on over barbecues after games. The ones who are into the arts, ballet, jazz, folk music, and art galleries, well, all gathering for matinees or gallery openings, followed by potluck dinners with everyone sharing and caring. People who sing in the church choir and get together after practice on Thursday night for a coffee and donut, sharing the music and the faith that is central to their lives. Another tradition that welcomes the junior members as they explore it. Your own friends whose monthly dinners provide children with the assurances that there are other adults with the same odd notions as mom and dad. From bedtimes to the right tone of respect with which to address police officers or school teachers. Which isn't to say everybody thinks in lockstep, oh no, but it provides a safe venue in which to explore values and discover how goals may be expressed in different ways, how different circumstances warrant exemptions to certain rules, and how at the center of everything is one's faith, dominated by the teachings of Jesus, loving one's God and one's neighbor. Traditions, family dinners, enjoying the company of some and tolerating others, just ordinary times that form a solid base on which to grow the values and internalize the responsibilities that pass and replenish and enrich growing up in a family intent on seeing that what is valuable to one generation is available to those that follow. Have you ever caught yourself sounding like one of your parents? When you realize you just used a one-liner that your grandparents quoted at you and you just fired it at one of your children? Then things look in pretty fine shape. A scraped knee, a failed exam, or a romance that has gone down the drain. All can be greeted with Grant's, "Getting knocked down is inevitable. How you get up is what counts." It worked for the generation before you, and it will work with the ones to come. And when you found the toy that your 7-year-old child took from the corner store, did you do what your dad did? Have the child open their piggy bank for the money they need and then take child, bank's contents, and toy back to the store to meet with the owner, hear Junior's apology, and pay for the purloined goods. Embarrassment works far better than grounding or lost privileges or any other punishment, at turning the youngster away from ever taking what is not theirs again. We all need to examine the values that guide our lives and decisions. Are they still valid? Is an update in order? The dreams of one generation for a daughter to be a secretary, teacher, or nurse was radical in the 1950s, when girls were supposed to dream of being stay-at-home mums. Today, no one can understand why you would limit dreams, but in laughing at the old limits, one does take pride in the accomplishments of those daughters of long ago. The tradition that passes on is that family encourages family members to be the very best that they can be. And knowing that the people cheering them on admit that some doors are harder to enter than others, but one won't be alone. Tradition ensures that family members will be there to help get them to that door and through it. The encouragement to take a chance to do and dare, that remains the same. It's always a delight to see big cousins looking after the little ones, teaching by example to jump the highest, throw the ball the straightest, or with a curve if that's what's desired, and how to get an extra toonie by charming granddad with a hug. When family dinners and gatherings include your friends of different nationalities, languages, colors, and sexualities, it's difficult for any generation to find fault or to indulge in discrimination. And if discussions of current events around the dinner table include condemnations of drug users and their paraphernalia around schools, or those who choose not to work because it's so easy not to, values are once more being shared. All in all, shaping a comfortable spot for adopting or internalizing what to value, what to fear, and what to honor. Surely that is what we want traditions to do, form a comfortable space to share ideas and values and how to determine what is right and what is wrong that the family can agree upon and promote. While always promoting honesty, there was one lie that I would always condone. I told my children that when they felt that they were getting in over their heads, that there was risk in what they were being urged to do or try, they could always say, "Oh, I can't. My mother would kill me if she found out." It worked for me, and it worked for my children. Don't know if the grandchildren had the same opportunity to get out of such a corner. I hope so. Courage, honesty, caring for others, sharing what one has, and living one's faith to the best of one's ability. Those are the traditions I hope I passed on to my children, and that they have done the same. And I hope they will pass on my love of the CNE to the generations that follow, and that they will challenge them to spin on the mouse, dive on the magic carpet, explore the fun house, and eat the deep-fried crickets and the mac and cheese popsicle, the jalapeno or lavender lemonade, the Spam poutine, or the 2-pound, 15-inch donut, and all the new culinary challenges to come. And so I pray, Heavenly Trinity, bless families everywhere as they seek to impart the best in their lives and share it with the next generation, so that good may triumph over evil and that love will conquer all. Let the traditions and values that Christ inspired light the candles on the table as we come together to praise and emulate the best and give to those who will follow us the very best of each of us, and they can be. So may it be. Amen.